Hello AOS fans, Robin here, and I'm back again to tell you about one of my family's current favourite games. And that game is Stuffed Fables, brought to you from Plaid Hat Games and created by Jerry Hawthorne, who is the brainchild behind Mice and Mystics, which is a game I've always loved the look of and never actually got around to playing. Now this one is, as I say, it's called Stuffed Fables, and it's subtitled An Adventure Game Book, because this game is somewhere between a board game and a fighting fantasy style game book, or should I say a Destiny Quest style game book. Hi Mike. A friend of mine who writes adventure game books, and a role-playing game and a board game, and it's just a really lovely game. It's aimed around 7-8 plus, I would say. I've been playing it a little bit with my 6-year-old, and he enjoys it too, and we've all really enjoyed it, and it is really fun. So I'm just going to take the lid off the box for you. There we go, lid. And here's the rule book. Now I'm not going to do a detailed summary of the rules, because the rule book is actually written in conjunction with Watch It Played. There's a lot of QR codes in there that you can go straight to their videos, and their videos are great. There's no point in me reinventing that wheel. They do it much better than I do. So that's the rule book. But as you see, it's actually not a very thick rule book for a game box this size. Quite pleased with that. It's fairly easy to understand. We haven't run into too many issues. So the game is driven by this rule book, the Stuffed Fables book, storybook. It's not a rule book, it's a storybook. On the back here I've got the characters. So there's Theodora, who's a teddy bear, Lumpy the elephant, Flops, Lionel, Stitch and Pickle, and they're various different types of stuffed toy. You play stuffed toys in this game, and the premise of the game is that you're trying to help your owner, this little girl, the little girl has gone up from her cot into her big girl bed, and you're trying to make sure that's a success and that she doesn't get scared in it, doesn't have any nightmares, doesn't wet the bed. That's your job as her stuffed toys. You are protecting her and defending her against the sort of night nasties, which has got a sort of Gaiman-esque feel to it. And there's definitely a Gaiman-esque feel and definitely a Toy Story feel to this, with this alive stuffed toys that move about. There's an absolutely fantastic swashbuckling teddy bear called Theodora, and Stitch is my favourite, who is an heirloom. He's like a teddy bear that's been handed down through generations and is all kind of all messed up and stitched back together. They're my two favourite characters. There's a Archer rabbit who my son loves, and it's just a really lovely book. Basically, the way it works is that you read out passages of the book and then you enact the things that it says to do. And it's sort of got a role-playing game. You can choose where you go and what you do. So you open the book. The story opens like this. So one of you will read: Mummy and Daddy exchanged nervous glances as they watched their little girl climb into her new big girl bed. It was a beautiful big bed of purple and blue with a fancy headboard, and the little girl had fallen in love with it the moment she first saw it. They had brought it home in a big box, and Daddy spent the afternoon in the garage assembling it. She had napped in it a couple of times already, but this was the first night it would replace her crib. Mummy cried a little that day when Daddy took the crib apart. The little girl felt strangely sad too when she watched Daddy pack the crib away in the attic. But she was a big girl now, and this was her big girl bed. And it goes through like that, and you read a little bit of narrative, and then there's normally some game to play afterwards. This is the introduction, so there's no game to play, but you turn over to section 5, the crawling dread. One by one, the Stuffy slid off the bed and tiptoed out of the room, being careful not to make a sound. But as they moved through the dark house, an ominous purple glow began to form underneath the big girl bed, and from out of that glow came long, spidery legs. So that's the scene is set for each one. Now there are 7 stories to play in the book. So there's the big girl bed, Wetting Go, A Kinder World, Unhinged, Nothing But the Tooth, Shots in the Dark, and Fear of Loneliness. So those are the 7 stories that the game takes you through, and each page is a chapter which you act out with your stuffed toys. And on the pages, if we go to the crawling dread, which is the first one, you can see, and I might perhaps get Pete to flash up a proper image of this. You can see there's a grid format that your characters move about. Your characters are miniatures, which I'll show you in a second, and you can move them about on the grid to do various things. And some of the grid, this is a simple one, they have various points. So here's an eye you can see. So you go there and something happens, and you read it out from the section here, I2. And these are things where you can go and talk to people, and there are cards to tell you what happens when you go and talk to somebody. And so it's all very neatly driven by a dice mechanic, which I'll show you in a minute. But here are the miniatures. I've taken a few pictures. I'll just flash those up for you. but the miniatures are really lovely, really beautifully evocative. I don't know if you can see them there. I'll just put that up there, and I obviously have just shown them to you. That's Stitch, and here's the rabbit with the bow and arrow, and then there's some scary ones too. So I've got this guy here who has no heart. His heart's taken out. This guy is some sort of uber bad guy I think I haven't actually met yet when we've been playing. And then there's the spindly, spidery, very much Toy Story type creation. And in here is also Theodora, the swashbuckling bear, who I think is just brilliant. I'll show you her. She's lovely. Playing this game is really lovely. The children love it. They really get into the storytelling aspect of it, which is really nice. And they love the working together. And the mechanic is really quite clever too. You have a bag of dice, basically, and you take each turn, you take out 5 dice. And there's multiple colours of dice in here. And I've drawn out 5. I've drawn out a blue one, a pink one, a green one, a black one, and a white one. Now, white ones enable you to heal yourself. Basically, you have stuffing because you're a stuffed animal, and you can have a number of stuffed bits of stuffing. And if you run out of stuffing, you die, or something bad happens. And you can roll this, and if you roll over the number of pieces of stuffing you've already got, then you get an extra piece of stuffing. So obviously once you get to 6, you can't get any more. There's black dice. The black dice go on a little bit that goes on the side of the book when they're playing it on the board, which is like this. And you can put the black dice on here. And the more black dice you have, the worse things happen. They trigger. So the black dice trigger the bad things. Black dice trigger the bad things. And the more you have, the more likely it is to trigger. Pink, purpley dice, that is a wild dice. You can do whatever you like with that one. The green dice you used for a ranged attack when fighting. There's a red dice in here which I didn't draw out. There's a red dice, that's for an ordinary attack. And there's a blue dice which is the attribute dice, so you might have to roll on particular attributes of your characters depending on what you're doing. So that's the blue dice. And there's a yellow dice as well. The yellow dice enables you to search. Each page has a little search number on it, which is between 1 and 6. And so yeah, so if you search and you roll a yellow dice over the number for the searching of that particular page, and you can find an item, and you draw the item card, and you might find the old number 2, which is a type of pencil, and that does various things. And you have some of the slots and find a blue scarf, which gives you +1 to your blue dice rolls. Kitchen knife, which is a weapon, gives you +1 to your weapon dice rolls. So you go through and you search for stuff as you go through, and you find things, and you can have so many slots, and you can hold so many things. And you can swap them between you as well. So it's really nice. So that's kind of like your equipment. So that works really well. You move about by using your dice. You can use any colour dice to move. So you can move about the board that way, but you have to toss up between, well, if I move there, then I can't shoot, or so there's a nice thinking mechanic of what order you need to do things in, and do you need them, what should you do one thing or should you do the other. And then depending on what you do, as the story goes, you read through the various things. So you might go to one place and it says, well, you can do this or this, and then you choose, and the story branches off. Or if you haven't done one thing, by the time you get to somewhere else, then you can't do it, so you have to go somewhere else. And that's how the story works. So it is a multi-pathway story, and there are consequences to doing something or not doing something. And then you meet people and you can help them, which might cost you some dice or some stuffing or something, and then something good will happen, or you could choose not to help them, and then maybe you won't get something good later on in the game. That's kind of in a nutshell how it works. You each play a stuffed animal. You can move about the board, and bad guys come and you have to fight them, and you can meet objects and things on your way around to help you as you go. And each time you're reading more of the story. The story is really lovely and evocative, and there's lovely miniatures, as I said, and lots of cards. There's a story deck which is all kept in order, although there are notes on it as to which story they come from, so if you do get muddled up, it's not the end of the world. And you specifically find those items at that point in the story, and they help the story evolve. And also they have special bad guys in there, again, they help the story evolve. And it's just a really nice, easy introduction to the idea of role-playing games, storytelling games, in a beautifully packaged package. And I really like Stuffed Fables. I say my boys have loved it. We've played the first story, started the second one, and they're really into it, so they're really looking forward to playing it some more over the Easter holidays. Judging by the time this video's gone out, it's probably already passed. But we are loving this game at the moment. It's really good from Plaid Hat Games. It's not cheap because it's got miniatures and lots of cards. It's 65 US, I think, and £65. It's definitely £65. I'm not sure of the US price. Perhaps get Pete to flash that up. but it is a US game that's been imported over here, so it might be a comparable US pound price. But like I say, it's a really great game if you're looking for something a little bit different, a little bit fun. I don't think you want to play it with older single gamers, but if you're looking for something more fun and relaxing with a little bit of sort of fairy tale-ish type thing thrown in, then Stuffed Fables is a really great game for you. So I will do a full write-up on Geek Dad, which I'll try and remember to put in the link of the video for this, but I haven't started writing that yet. But this is a really great game, so I'll definitely be writing it up. I'll say we're really enjoying it in our house at the moment. So that's Stuffed Fables. If there's anything I've missed or you'd like to know more about, please ask in the comments. There is a whole bag of stuff here I didn't mention, but you do get a bag of counters, which are stuffing counters and hearts and things, and they're all various parts of the game mechanism of how to play the game. I won't go into them now. There's a button currency, which I really like. So you find buttons as you go around, you can spend them in the kind of shops, and then each character has a little card like that. So that's Stitch's card, and he has his own special skills. Each character has their own array of two or three things they can do better than anybody else. So the game as a whole package is really lovely, and it works really well. So that is Stuffed Fables basically in a nutshell. The best thing about it is this lovely book with the lovely stories in it and the really lovely pictures. I'll show you one, and I can perhaps get Pete to flash up a couple of the pictures of the sort of battle arenas, if you like. Kite catching number 1. So really enjoy this game. It's really great. So I hope you found that useful and not too waffly, and I'll see you again soon with another game. I'm trying to get as many of these look at this game, it's pretty great videos out as I possibly can. So I hope you enjoyed that one, and if you have played Mice and Mystics, do let me know what you think of that, whether I should still try and find a copy. Okay, so until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.